Samantala, nagsasagawa po ng press con ng NDR-RMC. Pakinggan po natin ngayon.
We know what happened with the fault. The fault that moved is called the East Bohol Fault, which has been mapped years ago. It's found at the southeast side, and Carmen is in the path of that fault. And that beach ball figure there would tell us that the fault moved vertically. So the movement is the fault was from up to down, from down up. So it pushed the land upwards. Next slide. As a result of that motion of the fault, the energy that was released triggered earthquake shaking on the ground. That is called the intensity. The yellow-colored circle there would represent intensities of around 7 to close to 8 for the yellow-orange. And so please note that Bohol Island, right there, would have an intensity of 7 as reported, but maybe in the epicentral area, maybe it's close to 8. Now, please also note that in some parts of Cebu, it's also slightly yellowish. That means that 7 could be an expected intensity in Cebu, which was also confirmed by some damages in some parts of Cebu. Those in green would be intensity 6 to 5, and intensity 6 are areas where people would have felt the earthquake strongly. At intensity 7, people would have felt the earthquake very strongly. Sometimes people would panic, sometimes they would not be able to stand. Hanging objects will swing violently, things might topple down. And damages can happen, and in the steep slopes, there can be landslide. Further out of the epicentral area, we have intensity 5 as reported in Iloilo, some parts of Guimaras, some parts of Negros Oriental, Camiguin Island, and northern Mindanao. And further out, next slide, would be other intensities. Now, other reports of high intensities are in Tagbilaran, Bohol, 7, 6 in Inigaran, Negros Occidental, also Dumaguete City, and 5 in Iloilo. The quake was felt as far as northeast of the Bicol region, in the Bicol region like Sorsogon and also Masbate, and as far as south as Davao City and also Zamboanga. So because of the large magnitude, the area affected by the shaking was very large, but we don't expect damage in areas with intensities of 5 or less, only with 6 or of course those in 7 or maybe up to 8. Next slide. These are the other intensities. Next slide. Now, just to show you where the fault is, that is the East Bohol Fault. The fault is, of course, mapped on the surface, but the earthquake happened below the surface at 33 kilometers, so the exact position of the epicenter might not fall on that line because the fault is not that vertical. Next slide. And this would show you the historical earthquake of the area. The larger the circle, the higher the magnitude. But just for comparison, the last strong earthquake in Bohol area occurred offshore in 1990, February, magnitude 6.8. This also caused damages in several churches in southern Bohol and also roads and bridges. It also triggered a tsunami because the earthquake occurred offshore. Now this earthquake, this morning, occurred inland. So there was no possibility of a destructive wave. There could have been minor seawater oscillation, but then the threat would have been felt within 10 minutes of the quake. So there should be no alarm, cause for alarm for tsunami. So the net effect of the earthquake would be strong ground shaking, the possible liquefaction of soft ground, like subsidence of some roads and bridges, and even some of the buildings, and landslides in steep slope areas. So, yun lang po. Next slide. I think that's it. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Director Solidum.
Just for info, as I forgot to mention, as of 11 a.m., there have been 110 aftershocks, 110 aftershocks with the highest at 9:55 a.m. at magnitude 4.5. The concern after the earthquake would be aftershocks. So people need to make sure that they have to inspect their houses and buildings if damaged, and make sure that the damages are not structural, not the beams and the columns, and before they reoccupy the building. Please note that the aftershocks can still be felt within the day and tomorrow in the next several days, but we expect the aftershocks to further diminish in number with time. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you very much, Director Solidum. With that, we will be presenting to you the effects of the earthquake on the ground. And this will be presented by Major Ray Balido of the Operations Center.
Maraming salamat po, sir. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Ito po yung mga paunang epekto or initial effects na nakala po natin in connection po dito sa magnitude 7.2 earthquake na nangyari po dito sa Carmen, Bohol. Ito po yung paunang casualties po na nakalap natin. Umabot na po tayo sa 20. 15 po sa Cebu, 4 sa Bohol, and 1 from Siquijor. So, 20 na po yan. Ito po yung pauna lamang. Kinakalap pa rin po natin yung iba pang epekto, lalong-lalo na dito sa casualties. At nakapagtala rin po ng 33 injured, 19 po sa Mandaue City, Cebu, 6 sa Toledo, at mayroon pong 8 sa Pinamungahan, Cebu. Dahil po ito sa result ng stampede dahil nagkagulo na po. At mayroon pong 3 na rescue doon po sa Barangay Pasil, Cebu City. Next. Sa ngayon po na nakakaranas po ng kawalan ng kuryente, dulot na rin po nitong lindol, itong mga sumusunod na mga probinsya o lugar. So, sa buong probinsya po ng Bohol, Mandaue City, Iloilo City, and yung probinsya ng Iloilo, Cadiz City of Negros Occidental, and some areas sa Region 11. Mayroon din po tayong mga nakuhang initial report ng mga pinsala dito po sa mga sumusunod. Sa mga lumang simbahan po sa Bohol, particularly sa Bohol, at saka sa Tagbilaran City Port Terminal na nasira rin po. May partial damage din po sa Cebu City Hall. Yung pong building ng DSWD sa Region 7, ito ang pinanggalingan po ng report natin dito is yung DSWD. From our Department of Transportation naman po, may mga nasirang terminal buildings, particularly sa Tagbilaran and sa administration office po ng Iloilo Airport. Nakakuha po tayo ng mga paunang photographs o pictures ng mga nasirang mga structures. Ito po yung San Pedro Church sa Lubok, Bohol na nag-collapse. Yun pong isang kalsada sa Bohol, nagkaroon ng sira. Isang structure din po sa Barangay Mambaling, Cebu City. Portion or bahagi po ng Ayala Center sa Cebu. And then yung bell tower po ng pinakalumang simbahan sa Pilipinas, yung Basilica Minore del Santo Niño sa downtown Cebu City. Bahagi po ng Gaisano Country Mall sa Banilad, Cebu City. Cebu Doctors University, yung pong kanyang bubong, nagkaroon po ng pinsala sa bubong na bahagi. GMC Building, malapit po sa Plaza Independencia sa Cebu City. Itong mga paunang report po ng damages at saka casualties, mga pauna lamang po, na-expect po natin na tataas po ito sa pagdating po ng mga reports na makalap po ng ating mga regional centers dito po sa nasabing mga lugar na naapektuhan. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat, Ray. Now for the inputs of the member agencies, may I request the Honorable Secretary Dinky Soliman for some updates, ma'am.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair, Secretary Walter Gasmin, Yusek Del Rosario, and colleagues from the Civil Service, mga lingkod bayan. Magandang umaga. Ito po yung aming ginawa so far sa emergency relief resources for the earthquake victims in Region 7. The action taken are the following. We mobilize all personnel at DSWD 7 and RDRRO, and we are processing the release of an additional 10 million for Region 7 for relief operations and ongoing repacking of food packs and coordination with the local Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. In addition to the initial information that was given, we just want to say, nais po namin ipaliwanag, ngayong araw po ay payout ng Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program dahil ngayon po binibigay, hinahabol namin para hindi po kami abutin ng election ban. Subalit sa masamang palad or sa hindi inaasahang pangyayari, nung lumindol, nakalinya na po sa Toledo City at sa Pinamungahan. Dalawang hiwalay na lugar at dun sa Toledo nagka-stampede, yun ho yung 6 na na-injure na dinala na po namin sa ospital. At sa Kasawiang Palad po, dun sa Pinamungahan, may 4 na taon na bata na namatay sa stampede. Nahiwalay po siya sa nanay at namatay po siya sa stampede. 4 years old po siyang babae. At dun po, siyam naman ang nagkaroon ng iba't ibang galos at iba't ibang sakit sa katawan dahil din sa pagkakaroon ng stampede. Our prepositioned emergency resources in Region 5, 6, 7, 11, and sa NROC is at 88,731 ready for distribution at yan po ay aming ipapamahagi na sa mga lokal na pamahalaan na nangangailangan ng tulong. But I think given the reports, ang concentration po namin ay Region 7 sa Bohol at saka sa Cebu and parts of Negros Oriental. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Ma'am, thank you very much. Next to give an update is the Bureau of Fire Protection, Fire Chief Superintendent Romero.
Yes, sir. It was reported that 3 persons were rescued. Name are Angelita Nainge, 49 years old, Delia Manning, and an 8-year-old child. The Bureau of Fire Protection in Cebu is now conducting roving operation in order to determine whether there are other buildings that are affected by the earthquake. So as other fire trucks also in the affected area as well as in Bohol are also conducting the same operation.
Thank you very much. From the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we have General Dante Costes.
Good afternoon to everybody. Since it is the AOR of CENTCOM, as shown is the update of the actions taken by the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Next. So as you can see, the AFP units, the assets, both personnel and equipment of the Armed Forces are all mobilized. In Bohol, we have the SF battalions as shown and the respective equipments. Regarding the inventory of the HADR assets and equipment, our trucks, our also helicopters and ambulance and vessels are all in place to support what happened in the CENTCOM AOR. Next slide. So immediately the AFP Crisis Action Team was formed, and shown in the slide are the members of the Crisis Action Team. As you can see, in Bohol, our SF battalions are the main operators and are helping out with the provincial disaster relief operations. Next. The Engineer Battalion, Construction Battalion was also alerted and deployed. The 2 helicopters were also alerted and augmented CENTCOM for this purpose. Next slide. Our way ahead. As you can see, what's very important for these operations is the collapsed structures rescue capability. So equipment and personnel, especially our reservists who can do, or our expert in collapsed structures rescue capability, are now alerted and ready to be brought to the areas where they are needed.
Thank you very much, General Costes. Before the next presenter, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Executive Secretary Paquito Ochoa. Sir. Next to present is the Department of Health, to be presented by Director Carmencita Panate.
Good morning, everyone. The Department of Health was initially placed on Code Red Alert in Region 7. And we have 6 hospitals there. Most of them experienced cracks in the building. So all of the patients were transferred to the ground. But after initial assessment, it was considered safe when they were asked to go back. The patients were asked to go back. But there were some concern of the patients because of the continuous aftershocks. Now, but it's good to say that all the OH hospital is still functional, even with those initial cracks reported. Now, for the reports, we have came up with 69 injuries per our report. Most of them coming from Celestino Gallares, which is in Tagbilaran, Bohol. Just this morning, we received initial admissions of injured at 30, but every time I call up, it's going up. So by this time, it's already 60 in Tagbilaran, Bohol. And they have also received 8 deaths, DOA, dead on arrival. This is in Celestino Gallares. Now they're asking help, and we have been coordinating with Region 7. Unfortunately, Region 7 is also affected. So we are preparing 2 teams to go to Tagbilaran, Bohol tomorrow. So if we could have the services of the transportation, so we can move in the teams tomorrow to help the Gallares, because they were telling me that they are still coming in. Madami pa kung pumapasok daw, dahan-dahan pumapasok. They're expecting more patients in Tagbilaran, Bohol. I think that is the mostly affected area. Thank you. That's all, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctora. For the Philippine Red Cross, we have Mr. Roderick Salve.
Good morning po. For the Philippine Red Cross, I'm reporting in behalf of our Secretary General. As earlier this morning, receiving the report from earthquake, we have already deployed our Red Cross action team to do the assessment. And also, we have also put in place on alert our National Disaster Response Team. Based on the initial report that we have received from the chapters, even 2 of our chapters in Cebu and Bohol had suffered cracks on their ceilings. And right now, I have received a report that we are sending teams in municipality of Oslob in Karkar, which they are a report of landslide. So we will confirm this report and submit the report to the NDRMC. And 2 of our ambulances are now in Cebu Medical City, assisting transporting some patient, since the hospital daw po is an old building, so they're transporting it in other hospital. So for now, that is for the report of the Philippine Red Cross. Thank you, sir.
Salamat, Roderick. For the Philippine National Police, we have Police Director Lina Sarmiento.
Thank you very much, sir. For the Philippine National Police, immediately after the earthquake, our regional directors submitted their respective reports to the National Operations Center because we have immediately activated our National Disaster Operations Center. All regional directors were directed to mobilize all their personnel and resources, especially for possible search and rescue operations. In addition to the report presented earlier by the NDRRMC, we also received report that a portion of the Pasig Fishport also incurred damages. And right now, we are continuously monitoring the situation, and all provincial directors in the affected areas were directed to inspect all the areas that might be affected by the earthquake, and they were also required to submit the report as soon as possible. That's all, sir.
Thank you very much, Director Sarmiento. Now we will entertain questions from the media. We can have an open forum. Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Simone Orendine. I'm here for Voice of America. And I was wondering if in any of these areas there were groups, apart from the lines where people were waiting for their CCT, groups where there were big convergences of people. Is it the fact that it's a holiday today, there weren't people in office buildings, or is it that you're just getting scattered numbers? We're wondering if there's like a bigger incidence of people, of casualties.
Well, the reason for this is because today is a holiday, so that there is no convergence of crowd. Particularly in the churches that collapsed. This happened on a Sunday, especially the time was 8 o'clock. Then this is another story.
Sir, any updates on the ports, airports? May mga canceled na daw po ba sa Visayas and Mindanao? And how are we going to...
Based po dun sa report ng DOTC, may mga canceled, lalong-lalo na dun sa Tagbilaran, close na po yung airport doon. And yung Iloilo naman, yung admin building lang nila ang nagkaroon ng damage, so tuloy pa rin doon.
Sir, what time sa Tagbilaran, sir? And sa sa mga seaports natin, mga pantalan, sir?
Yung reports on seaports, we are still waiting for yung official reports. Wala pa kaming data about that. Yung Tagbilaran, yung Tagbilaran kasi nagkaroon ng damage, but they are still conducting assessment kung po pwede pa nilang buksan ulit.
Ang Cebu, sir, walang effect sa airport, sir?
So far, wala pang nakarating sa amin.
Thank you.
By the way, please state your name at sabihin lang natin kung saan nyo ina-address yung inyong mga katanungan so that the appropriate council member will answer your question.
Sir, good afternoon po. Edwin Sabidal po from DCMM. For Director Solidum, sir, good afternoon. You mentioned that yung fault na gumalaw ay itong Bohol, East Bohol, tama po ba?
East Bohol fault po.
East Bohol fault, and it moved yung pinakamalakas vertically.
Ang paggalaw ng fault, may tatlo po ang kilos ng fault, may horizontal, may sumasampa paakyat, thrust fault ang tawag, at yung isa bumabagsak. Ito pong sa Bohol ay paakyat.
Opo.
Katulad po yan ng 2012 Negros earthquake na paakyat din. But yung pong pagkaramdam ng mga tao doon malapit sa epicentro, sa Bohol, mauna nilang maramdaman vertical motion muna. And then, pangalawa ay horizontal, mas matagal. Okay? So, ang fault na pagkilos, paakyat, pero yung mararamdaman nila, muna vertical and then horizontal. Yung mas malayo, horizontal lang po ang naramdaman.
Sir, ano po yung possibility na posibleng gumalaw din yung ibang fault na katabi? May possibility po bang ganon?
Para ang fault ay magpakilos ng mga fault, dapat ay masyadong malapit yung fault. Parang yung katabi mo na babae,
Opo.
pag itulak kita, pwede kang bumalandra sa kanya, pero yung mas malayo, hindi na.
Opo.
Eh wala namang mas malapit na malalaking fault pa dyan. But just remember that ang mga fault sa Pilipinas ay kumikilos ng sarili. No? So, it might happen na may kumilos naman talaga. We just need to be prepared always. But not as a consequence nito. Yung influence ng pagkilos ng fault na yan will just be scattered within the area, with the province or just nearby.
Opo. Sir, nabanggit nyo, gaano po talaga ka-active itong East Bohol fault na to?
The longer the fault, the more active it is. But remember, in 1990, the fault moved magnitude 6.8, pero paakyat po kasi yan, no? So ang kumilos po niyan ay dito sa bandang dagat. So 1990 po ang huling earthquake dyan na malaki sa Bohol, ngayon na lang uli. But that is not a very large, not a very long fault. Like the Philippine fault zone na pwedeng magnitude 8 ang pagkilos.
How long is the fault, sir?
It's around 30 kilometers.
30 kilometers.
You won't expect a very large earthquake from a short fault.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, Bing Pormento po sa DCRH. Ilang oras po titigil ang aftershocks?
Well, depende rin po yan sa fault, and but it will not stop within one day. Just like what happened in Negros Oriental, marami pong earthquake within one day. Mayroon pang marami-rami second day, but eventually it will taper down. But depending on the fault, sometimes the aftershock, most of which will not be felt, can last for months and sometimes years, pero ang dalang na ng pagitan, malayo na ang pagitan. But still an aftershock.
Gaano po kadalakas ang intensity and magnitude ng mga aftershocks na yan?
Well, most likely it will not be as strong. Most likely it can be 6, just like what happened in Negros Oriental. But so far, the aftershock na pinakamalaki, magnitude 4.5, no? So far. Naramdaman ito mga intensity 3 lamang. Makakaramdam dyan yung mga taga-Bohol lamang, hindi na masyado sa ibang lugar. Kasi mahina na po yung energy, yung magnitude maliit na lang.
Thank you, sir. Last question po para sa DSWD. Ilan po ang mga evacuation centers natin ngayon na nakahanda, ma'am?
Sa ngayon ho, wala tayong evacuation center na nakatayo dahil kahit ho yung mga pwedeng evacuation center, chine-check kung pwede hong maging evacuation center. Ang tendency ho ng tao, gaya ng sinabi ni Director Solidum, nandun sila sa open space dahil nga sa dami ng aftershocks. So sa ngayon wala pa po tayong nakatayo. Naggagawa ho sila ng assessment. Kung natatakot po talaga yung mga tao, maglalagay po kami ng mga tents dun po sa mga open spaces. Nagmo-mobilize na po ng tents ngayon para itayo dun sa mga lugar na maaaring itayo po itong mga tents na ito.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Kay Secretary Gasmin, sir, good morning po. Joash Bermeo from Zoe TV. Kay Secretary Gasmin po. Sir, sa naging damages po sa Cebu and then Bohol, napag-iisipan po ba natin right now na mag-declare na po ng state of calamity para matulungan yung mga affected?
Ayun. Hindi pa natin natitiyak yung actual damage. Meron tayong damage assessment na ginagawa ngayon. Until such time, then we will do the necessary declaration.
Yung pondo po natin, sir, na naka-standby, panggamit po, sir, sa mga relief operations at din sa mga pandulong, mga roughly, magkano po ba yung naka-standby na funds?
If I may answer that. Well, first, regardless of there's a declaration of a calamity or not, the NDRRMC acts automatically to prevent any further or to help out those who are affected and to prevent any further damage or safety problem on our people, di ba? Now, yung amount will always be there kung ano man yung kailangan nating ibigay or ang government natin is always working automatically at yung funds na yan, kung ano man yung funds for whatever purposes, just to help out, naka-ready yun palagi. So we can assure everybody that technicality na lang yung pag-uusapan siguro natin kung may declaration of calamity or not.
Thank you, sir.
Isa, nakapagsalita na rin lang ako, excuse me. Can I just, I don't know if this was discussed earlier, but may I just call the attention of Public Works and our local government units, specifically the building officials, na we should probably instruct them to intensify and immediately inspect all buildings or any structure in the areas affected, so as to ensure kung safe pa itong mga structures na to, so that people can be forewarned not to stay away from all of these structures. Sana para naman hindi na tayo makadagdag pa sa kung ano man yung na-damage nitong earthquake earlier today or at 8 o'clock. Since Philbox has already forewarned us also that there will be aftershocks, definitely those structures that were affected heavily or medyo yung integrity ng structure na yan will be questionable na. So with aftershocks coming, palagay ko hindi na talaga magiging safe for everybody. So I think the local government officials and with the help of everybody here should exercise sufficient discretion to determine kung paano natin we can move away our people from all of these structures which we suspect, just mere suspicion na it's the integrity is already questionable. I think we have to move our people away from this. Okay, thank you.
Just to add as a guidance for open area, if it's on a flat ground, at least 1.5 times the height of the structure, the building or the pole or the tree, para pag tumagilid siya, hindi siya maabot. And then of course, in steep slopes, they have to worry about landslides. So if the slope has not slid yet, aftershocks might happen. And at 12:22, there was an intensity 5 aftershock in Tagbilaran. So it's a forecasted event that there can be aftershocks.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Tuesday Newser of the DZBB to Executive Secretary Paquito Ochoa, sir. Sir, we know that the President is going to South Korea. With this incident, sir, mayroon ba siyang directives before he goes to SK?
Well, it's with the Chairman, Walsh Gasmin, yung directive. But of course, definitely the President will give directives. We have yet to discuss this within the day.
For your information, immediately after learning about the incident, the earthquake, the President has ordered all national agencies concerned to coordinate with local disaster and relief agencies and take the necessary action.
Sir, I am Akalma from PTV4 to Secretary Ochoa. Sir, yung pronouncement ninyo regarding sa mga structures, are you going to have a mandatory evacuation on the structures na possibility na medyo or
We cannot do that as yet. What I'm saying lang is we just have to be vigilant. Our officials are supposed to do what they're due and intensify lang nila, dagdagan nila yung effort nila just to make sure that yung mga structures that are suspected to be affected, mabisita at ma-determine right away kung safe pa to or not. And ako, kung I'll just exercise caution, I'll rather err on the side of caution na yung lahat ng pinagsususpetsahan natin mga structure, kahit na sinususpetsahan pa lang natin, sana naman makonbinsin natin yung mga kababayan natin na wag na munang pumunta ron or they stay away from these structures just to be safe. Kasi nga, it is because of the pronouncements na meron pang mga aftershocks. So I sense, common sense lang naman will dictate to us na a little movement now na damage na to begin with nung malaking movement nung unang earthquake, it might cause the structure to be damaged further and therefore it's no longer safe.
And lastly, sir, meron na ba tayong mga reports na mga na-trap na mga individuals sa mga gumuhong buildings and all that in the rubble?
So far, wala tayong report na na-trap sa mga buildings. Ang ginagawa natin ngayon yung rescue operations, yung mga tinamaan ng mga nag-collapse na buildings.
Good afternoon, sir. Joy Cantos po from Filipino Star. Sir, as per initial assessment, was is the mostly hardly hit by this earthquake, sir? Yusek Del.
It's Tagbilaran City and Cebu City. Basically, ang earthquake, ang tatamaan nito mga urban areas because of the preponderance of buildings or structures. So it will be Tagbilaran City and Cebu City. And it's outlying cities or urban centers.
Sa PhilBox, sir, Director Solidum, sir, based on historical seismicity, sir, with regards to the fault lines, the earthquake happens also in Visayas region years ago. Is there any indication that it could trigger earthquake in some other areas in the Philippine setting, sir?
Well, not as a result of this quake. There can be other quakes in other areas, but not as a direct result of the movement of this East Bohol fault. Please note that there are many faults in the Philippines. They can move independently. So what needs to be done is to make sure that our structures are really, one, it was good, it is well designed according to the possible shaking. It uses standard construction materials. And third, it followed the right workmanship. For earthquake preparedness, in urban areas, you need to worry about safety of the buildings. Now, in regards to the question earlier as to the most devastated area, in terms of building collapses, you would expect that in the urban setting. There are fewer building collapses because there are fewer buildings in rural areas, but you would probably have problems with the highways. I've been getting reports that some roads are not passable because of liquefaction or subsidence of roads and even landslide in the interior, near the epicentral area.
Imminent danger in Metro Manila, sir?
Well, as you know, I've been mentioning about a scenario for Metro Manila. And in fact, we should not associate our preparedness with the event in Bohol. We should be prepared because of the possibility of an earthquake, which is separate from Bohol. So, for Bohol, we had a separate scenario. We have mapped the area already, and we forecasted that at least intensity 7 to 8 shaking can happen in Bohol. Likewise for Metro Manila, as forecasted or as interpreted based on geologic data, we also envision for planning scenario a magnitude 7.2 earthquake similar to this event for Metro Manila from the West Valley Fault. And that would trigger intensity 8 shaking in Metro Manila. Very similar to the near the epicenter of the Bohol earthquake.
Clarify lang, prepare for preparation purposes lang yan. Hindi tayo nag
It's not for prediction. Huh? It's not for prediction but for preparedness.
We're not predicting anything.
Director Solidum, speaking of preparedness po, would you say that based on the initial effects of the earthquake in Region 7 was prepared for a disaster like this?
Well, mahirap na tanong yun kasi ano yung standard mo ng preparedness? Kung ang preparedness mo ay walang nasira, eh hindi papasa yun. But let's compare this with the Haiti earthquake. Lesser magnitude 7, and this is 7.2. There, more than 200,000 buildings collapsed. Here, we don't know yet, but I would think it's minimal. And we have to evaluate what caused the collapse of buildings, no? But definitely, in terms of Philippine building standards, our standards are very good. I think the issue now is to inspect the buildings for safety of the occupants. Second is to look at buildings whether, even if they follow the building standard in the 70s or 80s, our standards have increased today. So they have to be retrofitted according to the current standard. But yes, compared to many other similarly economically same level as the Philippines, yeah, we are into better preparedness.
Sir, may phone-in question lang dito. Ano daw po yung effect nito sa ibang Philippine fault?
I think it's the same question as before. None. There will be aftershocks within the area, but this has no direct effect to other major faults in other parts of Visayas, Mindanao, and Luzon.
Yes, please.
Leia Ilaga ng FUNTV, kay Director Solidum po. Sir, ano po yung explanation? Parang napansin ko yung mga naapektuhan, yung mga structure na mabababa compared dun sa matataas.
Very good question. I think it's the same. It should be an educational thing for us. if there are earthquakes and if there are buildings near the epicenter, the shaking that you will feel if you're very near the epicenter, you will feel the ground shake very fast. And in that case, what will be shaken badly will be the lighter building, yung magaan. Eh ano po ba yung magaan na building? Siyempre yung maiikling building, the low-rise building. If the earthquake epicenter is farther from structures, like maybe Cebu is further, or like Iloilo, then the shaking that will be felt in those areas will be like parang dinuduyan. In that sense, the mid-rise and high-rise buildings will sway more than the low-rise building. So pagdating sa near the epicenter, we expect more damage in the low-rise building. For the areas further out, we expect more damage for the medium to high-rise buildings.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, anything? Any more? Okay, last two.
Sir, good morning. Ron Calunzad from Kyodo News. For Major Balido or Yusek Del Rosario, is it safe to reconcile the initial casualty tally that we have as to the dead and injured with the one presented from DOH? So can we instead of 20 for the dead, can we use 24, and for the injured, 33 plus 69, can we use 102?
We will validate it later. We will reconcile our data with the DOH, and after that we will go back to you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, Aya.
Sir, last na, how about sir sa mga power interruption? How soon sila magkakaroon ng kuryente sa mga areas na binanggit yung kaninang walang kuryente? Are we going to send generators and all that?
We need a damage assessment first, and that is being conducted on the ground. After that, then we will know on the needs analysis of these damaged areas.
Hi, sir. Arnel Capili po, ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance, ASEAN AHA Center, based in Jakarta. Will the NDRRMC open the request or make a request to the international community, particularly the member states, Mr. Chair?
Not until we do the assessment. After that, then we will coordinate.
I got a text message from Secretary Abaya. He's saying that Cebu and Tagbilaran airports are fully operational as of 10:30 a.m. Tagbilaran port incurred damage currently caused. Fast craft facility damage, cracks on pier deck. Cebu port superficial damage. Agao port in Cebu might have incurred damage. Awaiting report from Cebu Ports Authority. So yun lang, para just to keep you updated.
And he has offered the Coast Guard for ferrying of relief goods if needed.
Okay, last question. Kung wala na po, ang Honorable Chairperson of the Council will give remarks or guidance. Sir.
In order to ensure the instructions of the President is carried out, I issued this memorandum as chairperson of the NDRRMC. This memorandum is addressed to the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Department of Health, Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Education, Department of Transportation and Communication, Philippine Red Cross, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Philippine National Police, Philippine Coast Guard, Bureau of Fire Protection. In view of the recent magnitude 7.2 earthquake in Carmen, Bohol on 15 October 2013, affecting regions 5, 6, 7, and 11, you are directed to deploy assets in your AOR and conduct damage assessment to your areas affected by the earthquake. Submit assessment reports to NDRRMC Operations Center not later than 1700 today. And before we close, let me read to you some reminders after an earthquake. Be prepared for aftershocks. Once the shaking stops, take the fastest and safest way out of the building. Don't use elevators. Do not enter damaged buildings. Do not use telephones unless necessary. This is to avoid clogging up the lines of communication. And do not panic. Check yourself and others for injuries. Check water and electrical lines for damages. Check for spills of chemical, toxic, and flammable materials. And check control fires which may spread. If you need to evacuate your residence, leave a message stating where you are going and bring your emergency supply kit. These are useful tips in areas immediately after an earthquake. So thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much. Lunch will be served here inside the conference room for everybody. Thank you very much.
At yan po mga kapuso ang press conference na isinagawa ng NDR-RMC sa kanilang headquarters kung saan nabanggit nga sa ngayon, no, partner, yung kanilang casualty count ay nasa 20 at 15 doon ay naitala sa Cebu, 4 sa Bohol at 1 sa Siquijor at nasa 33 ang bilang ng mga injured.
Pero inaasahan pa nila, partner, na aakyat pa yung bilang na yan dahil may mga lugar na hindi pa talaga nakakapag-report dito sa kanilang PDRMC at of course sa NDRMC. So inaasahan hanggang mamayang hapon kapag natanggap na nila yung full report ay maaaring umakyat pero sana wag na yung mga casualties dito sa Cebu at sa may Bohol. Pero kanina may nabanggit si Secretary Gasmin ng mga directives na mahalaga. Ang sinabi nila wag gumawa ng mga necessary calls lalo na doon sa mga areas na affected para hindi maklag yung mga telephone lines para sa emergency services.
At syempre yung iba pang mga kumbaga parang safety tips na binigay niya, no, kapag kayo po ay naipit sa lindol at nasa loob ng gusali, find the quickest and safest way out of the building. At syempre mahalaga ito dahil sabi nga ni Director Solidum ng PHIVOLCS magpapatuloy pa rin yung mga aftershocks dahil umabot na, no, sa 110 yung bilang ng ating aftershocks as of 11 this morning at magpapatuloy pa raw ito kinaasahan hanggang bukas, although ang sinasabi niya as time passes nadidiminish na yung bilang ng aftershocks. At
dahil nga sa mga aftershocks na yon, may directive din si Secretary Ochoa at sinabi niya na yung mga suspected na buildings na meron ng mga problema ay huwag nang pumunta roon yung mga tao dahil delikado. Kapag may malakas na aftershock baka lalong lumaki yung damage sa mga gusaling ito at delikado pa sa mga taong papasok sa mga ito. At
banggitin rin natin, no, si Pangulong Noynoy Aquino paalis po ng bansa papuntang South Korea at nagbili na raw siya sa lahat ng mga national agency na makipag-ugnayan sa mga local agencies at to take the necessary action.
At wala pa namang directive so far na sinasabing hindi tutuloy itong si Pangulong Aquino dahil isa itong pagbisita sa South Korea. Pero nga, nag-iwan nga siya ng directive sa mga opisyal ng pamahalaan.